Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldritch Show.
I'm quite enjoying the music that we've got going on here today. It's great.
We're replacing John.
Yeah. Lee, you're not going anywhere.
Why, thank you.
Yes, welcome back. I'm Jason Stockwell, Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge, Remax Results.
Stephanie
Morning,
Havel.
it's Stephanie Havel, Wells Fargo Home Mortgage. Glad to be here.
We have Don Doty,
Thank you.
Home
Don
Place
Doty.
Inspection, and Allison Krause with Shoreline Insurance Group. So if you missed this couple segments or want to know what we're talking about, we talked about a market update, and then we talked about inspections and mortgages and conventional mortgages, and then also getting your home inspected as a seller maybe prior to going on the market, and then if you're a buyer, using Don for sure, an experienced person. And then we talked about health insurance, which a lot of it, frankly, Allison, with Allison Krause here, a lot of it was when you were talking, I did not get it, even though I just went through it. So
Either that's
Welcome
why
to
I
the
called
show,
her.
Jason. Welcome to the show.
remember how we said we have smart people on here all the time? They're
Right.
smarter than us. That's why we have
Well,
them.
that's what I said. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get out because
Just
you
know
want to
somebody
surround
who
yourself.
knows somebody. Exactly
Yeah.
right.
But no, I think, like we said, I liked what you talked about, and even your example, Don, as you went to talk to somebody about car insurance and homeowners insurance, and they referred you to an expert on health insurance. And like you said, you're not there to, oh, geez, if I sell them this plan, I'm going to make a little bit more money, or if I put them with this carrier, I'm going to get a little spiff, like doctors do. If they write you a prescription for something,
Yep.
they get a $100 bonus. So I think that's great. You can talk more maybe even about that and just how they can call you and get information, and it doesn't cost them anything, right?
It doesn't cost them a thing. So you could do all the work on your own, and I think you'll always wonder, did I make the right choice? Or you can bring in an expert. The cost would be the same. So we're paid by the insurance carrier, and frankly, it's about the same regardless. It's not exact, but I would say it's within $1,
Yep.
So for me, there is, and it's not based on your premium. So that's the other thing. I've always loved that about my job because it keeps you honest, not that I need that kind of help, but I like telling my clients that, for you, I would do the higher deductible, and pay a lower rate because you're not using your insurance, and put that money into your own HSA, and, it's tax-free over here, and you can invest it, and, we can work strategy, and it doesn't have to be just a killer premium,
So let's say you're listening
So-
out there and you yourself just went through insurance, or maybe you're like some people that I know that don't have any insurance at all because the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, they opted out because they just decided to pay the penalty. Or let's say you have a family member or loved one who's in that same situation, or you just went through it and you have it, right? So let's say someone just said, I'm already done with it, Allison, thanks so much. I'll call you next year. Does it do any good? Can you change midstream, or are you kind of locked in for your year or however long? I don't even know how long I'm in for, actually.
Yep.
So
So good question. Open enrollment ended officially on February 8th. So now,
okay.
now you have to have a qualifying event, which would be loss of other coverage, or having a baby, getting married, certain things like that would, much like if you were to enter into COBRA, so similar type of qualifying life events.
So
that would open
qualifying
up
life
again.
event, then you
Yep.
can switch out of whatever policy you're
Yep.
currently in.
Then you have a 60-day window in which to make a change. So anybody who's in job transition, whether it's retirement, they were fired, it doesn't matter, they're going to have the option to continue with their plan, or they can enter into a private health plan. And once you make that decision, whether it's COBRA or a private plan, at that point, you're locked in until the next year.
So, for example, I'm in health insurance right now. Dawn, you're in health insurance right now. Our plan goes then now through 1 year. So it's that the typical cycle of our plan?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
Now, there's always a caveat, right? If you are a business owner, and this year is the first year where small group plans are actually more attractive, and small group doesn't run on the same timetable. So it would behoove you, if you own a business, to at least call your agent or talk to us, and we could help you explore that avenue, because again, what you're not going to find on the private market.
So you could go in as an individual, if you have an individual plan or family plan, you can go in and look at a small group plan, even though you're locked into a plan. So you could
Correct.
change. You could change without.
You could change.
Okay.
Yep.
And do
exactly.
you offer both? So now at Wells Fargo, they offer us obviously, insurance, and we have the difference between HRA and HSA. Do
Right.
you offer that as well, or what's? My team members and I always talk about it because they're like, "Well, you should be on this plan," and
Right.
and we have, like I said too, we've got a great system where we can go in and talk to somebody and figure out all our options, because it can be. That's why I said absolutely, I would call you, because it's just too hard to navigate.
Right.
But what would be
what
the,
is HRA? I don't even know what
so
that
that's what I
is.
say.
Yep,
Can you,
so
'cause I'm go ahead.
Yep. So HRA is a health reimbursement arrangement. So that's set up through your employer.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're an individual or you're a small business owner, then if you want that same tax deduction, you would have an HSA, health savings account. And in order to have a health savings account, you have to have a qualified health plan that meets that criteria. And HSA plans, by definition, are high deductible health plans. So essentially, whatever that deductible is, you're going to pay $1 through your deductible before your insurance would kick in. With the exception of preventative care, which of course now part of the ACA is all covered.
Again, you're losing me.
Right,
So
we're
I'm
getting
sorry.
into the weeds a little too much.
Look at his eyes.
Glazing over.
All you need to know is
So-
you should call her
Yes.
right
Exactly
after
right.
the show
Yep.
and get
So
yourself
folks
hooked
that
up.
are folks that are listening out there, if you have questions about your health insurance like I do now, you'll want to call Allison Krause and 952-492-5013. And now, drum roll, please. We've reached the part of the show where we're going to ask Allison's in the hot seat in our studio, so we're going to ask her about predictions. So, what are your predictions for healthcare? Because it's a huge topic. Governor Dayton's involved. There's massive increases in a lot of people. What's your predictions going forward? Also, nationally with Trump and all that stuff, is a typical person who is paying, say, $1,200 a month for a family going to be able to pay $800 next year, or is it? I mean, what's your predictions? I'll let you talk.
Okay, well, I wouldn't want to say any numbers.
Not
you know?
numbers, but I mean just general overall. Then
What I do see happening, I know that everybody would agree that the system needs to be changed so that it's sustainable for the long haul. And what Minnesota is trying to do is bring back a form of MCHA, so a reinsurance pool. So essentially would take out those people with chronic conditions that are higher cost and subsidize that group of people and allow the individual family marketplace to operate a little bit smoother. How they do that, I mean, I know they have two different proposals that are essentially being talked about.
Yep.
And whether or not they can get that done during this next legislative session is a whole nother,
Yeah,
so
'cause-
a lot of it is going to depend on it. Can they get that done? Because it's really going to be up to the government first, to work out the rules. And then it goes back to the plan so that they can create.
It's like an onion. There's
new
so many.
options.
I was watching a show on it, a news program, and they're saying, everybody's like, "Oh, just get rid of it." Well, you can't, and you
Right.
start peeling back the layers and realize, well, shoot, if we do this,
Yeah.
then this side is going to fall out. And if you
Right.
do this, then this side falls out.
Exactly
so
right.
it's not as easy as it sounds. Like, yeah, just get rid of these people or change it.
Well,
No.
so I was listening to the radio, and here's what I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, who had already a very good safety net, if you will,
Right.
for people that were uninsured. We had MinCare, I think, and they had Badger Care over in Wisconsin. States like that, when Obamacare came in or when the Affordable Care Act came in and we adopted into that, that really didn't do us any. We were already pretty good. It didn't help us, right?
Correct. Correct.
Like it was supposed to.
Right.
Other states
Needed
it
it.
probably helped.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Minnesota didn't need the aid of Obamacare.
So who do we thank for signing up for that? No, I was kidding. Dayton? No, I was kidding.
So if I'm, and I like to be optimistic, but also realistic, so if I'm optimistic, we would see some change, in terms of the marketplace by 2018 for individuals. But a lot needs to happen probably before Easter,
And
and that's
keep in
going-
mind it's government and it's insurance, so it ain't
Bingo.
gonna happen quickly. It's
Correct.
It's like giants, turtles. Just imagine these giant turtles moving or trying to move.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
The
they
hare and the
don't-
tortoise.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we'll know after this legislation, session is over. If they were to get that done, that's ultimately going to change what we have for 2018. If that doesn't get passed with the reinsurance pool, then I would say we're looking at something very similar, to 2017.
But
for
the
next
advice
year.
or tips, if you walk away from this with any tips, is one, get in touch with an expert, Allison, on your insurance, and Don on inspection, and Stephanie on mortgages and all that. But the other tip
and
is
us on real estate.
if you're a business owner and you don't have to have employees, that's the biggest tip I'm taking. If you're a business owner and you don't have to have employees, you can still sign up for a group plan, which can save you money, which I had no idea of that. We tried a group plan, like I said earlier, but we didn't qualify, but I didn't know we still. Maybe we could have. If we would have talked to Allison, we probably could have. So thanks, Don, for the tip on, but I didn't actually
Well, and I think
follow through on
the
it.
one other point too, you talk about like going online, and it's probably, I don't know about your industry, Don, but or even real estate, but like in mortgages, people do. You have an option, people go online and apply, and oh my gosh, there's just way too many options, and you just want to know. I mean, you can certainly go online. I mean, you can go to my website, stephaniehavel.com, and at least get a preliminary application, but talk to a person and let us work through it because there's so many options and same thing, download a home inspection checklist. I mean,
We just had a closing
Can't
with
even imagine.
with your person at Wells Fargo, Stephanie. Super smooth. Another client getting the Guardia pre-approved. They didn't even know they had the options. Like you said, they went in with a idea of this is how we have to do it if we sell our home and buy another one.
right.
And then you guys came in, Tim, and said, no, here's you have these three options. And like, what? They didn't even know they had the options to do the things that they're doing, saving them tons of money what they thought they were going to have to do.
Right.
So,
And that's why I say it's so important to talk to somebody, because there's still so much misinformation out there on mortgages and what you can do. And it's changed dramatically. I mean, again, with the 3% down program, Wells Fargo is the only one that has that conventional program where you don't have to meet a
what's
certain
the
income
saying that
level.
they used to say, what you don't know doesn't hurt you? However, there's other saying that's probably more powerful. It says, what you don't know can and will hurt you. So you want to make sure you work with people who
Right.
know what they're doing. So you can contact us, call us if you have any questions or want to list your house. We're always happy to hear that.
Or buy a house.
Or buy a house. 651-400-0773. 651-400-0773. Want to say thanks to Allison Krause, Shoreline Insurance, Don Doty, Home Place Inspection, and Stephanie Havel with Wells Fargo. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening,
Enjoy
folks.
the great weather today.
Oh, yes. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge with Remax Results.
Remember, love yourself and love
Love
others.
others.
Have a great week.
You're clear.
In the middle of our house, it has a crowd. There's always something happening.